Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Jason, Certified Financial Planner and host of Fighting Words Financial. Today, I want to talk to you guys about DocuSign. Now, I probably should have done a video on this earlier because I think it's a very important company. But honestly, I kind of thought that everyone knew about this company already. But when I went out and I did some searching and I looked at kind of, how many views other videos had gotten, many of the videos on DocuSign really don't have that many views. So you might be asking, why am I bringing this to your attention? I'm bringing this to your attention because I think it's one of the most important companies out there. But look, we all get stuck in our bubbles, and I've been working from home for almost 5 years now in one form or another, and I've had the opportunity to watch DocuSign grow and grow and grow over time and see how their tentacles have kind of spread out in the business world. So it's a business model that might seem a bit boring, but I assure you that the potential of this company in terms of making money, in terms of how much they're going to grow and expand over the next decade or so is anything but boring. Now, I do need to disclose that I do own a modest position in this company. I've had it since roughly 2018. Maybe this fell off my radar a little bit because the business model, like I said, seems a little bit boring. But it caught my eye because since 2012, I've been using DocuSign as a service every day. And it wasn't always obvious that I was using it every day. All right, so before I get started talking about DocuSign, of course, I did tell you that I do have a position in this company. I do need to say that anything I say in this video is not instructions to buy, sell, or hold a security. You have to make your own financial decisions and do your own due diligence, blah, blah, blah. You guys heard this before. All right, folks, so like I've done in past videos, I'm going to bottom line what I think of DocuSign up front, and then I'm going to give you my reasons why I think what I think. And I think by the end of this video that if you stick around, you're going to understand my 3 reasons for being so positive on this company. And let's talk about me being so positive on this company. Normally, I try to give you guys a pretty neutral assessment of how I feel about a company and what their chances are and how I think they're going to be successful. It was a little bit difficult in this respect, not because I hold an investment in this company. I have investments in lots of companies that I cover, and I always tell you that up front, or I put it somewhere in the video. But it's really because I really had a hard time finding a reason why this company wouldn't be successful. And I think, though, by the time that we get to the end of this video, you're going to understand my 3 reasons, and it's going to be so obvious to you that I don't have to do what I normally do, which is get extremely technical or go into the financials or talk about their special technologies. I never met a spreadsheet that I didn't like, but I don't need those to point out anything. I don't need to talk about their consistently positive financials. All I need to talk about is what they've done so far, what their business model is, how they've already influenced the digitalization of our economy. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand that, and you're probably going to be just as positive as I am. So this is why I'm not really all that objective in this video. I may be coming off a little bit biased. I'm not really apologizing for that. I'm going to let you make your own judgments, though. So DocuSign isn't a new company at all. It's been around since 2003, so at this point, almost 18 years. It is an established company with over 500,000 corporate clients and a couple million daily users. It isn't just a company that lets you sign documents online. It's really a next generation internet play, and it's really a play on the further digitalization of our economy and our lives as a whole. So in the spirit of one of my last videos where I spared you from the 2,000-year history of quantitative risk management, you're welcome. I'm also going to spare you the history of contractual agreements and how they drove key innovations. So DocuSign has essentially redefined single-handedly how we enter into contractual agreements. This company and this technology is going to be one of the primary drivers in what I see is going to be an eventual disruption in real estate transactions and other types of contractual agreements that currently involve dozens of people and pounds of paper. The stock, of course, has gone up a lot recently, and it might be seen as a COVID-19 play, but it really shouldn't be. If you bet on DocuSign, what you're really betting on is next generation internet as a whole. And you're betting on the further digitalization of our economy as a whole. I think DocuSign actually represents a bit of a safe harbor in terms of a technology bet. It's a bit like selling picks or blue jeans during the California gold rush. You might not strike gold yourself, but you're going to share in the prosperity anyhow. This company already has incredible reach. As long ago as 2012, they could already boast 90% of Fortune 500 companies as clients. They have a number of patents on digital signature technology. They have a number of patents on handwriting recognition technology. In 2010, the US Congress passed the eSign Act, which made digital signatures possible by ensuring the validity and legal effect of contracts entered into electronically. It had a cost-benefit savings for companies that use their services that went far beyond simply what digital signatures and document storage could do. A prime example of this is the industry that I work in, the financial industry, and it's one that I can describe the benefits with some degree of authority. Prior to 2012 or so, the amount of trees I killed with paperwork was absolutely epic. If trees could talk, I'm sure that in some forest somewhere I was probably known as the Genghis Khan of the tree world. DocuSign and digital signature changed all of that, but it actually changed so much more. If you've never worked in the financial industry, then you might not know how much compliance or corporate compliance is involved in regulating what goes on in a company. There's so much going on in the compliance world that the representatives of most financial firms have a running joke, of course, that the compliance department should really be known as the anti-sales department. But compliance actually does have a very, very important role. They control liability for the company, they protect the interests of the company in dealings with clients, and they ensure suitability of transactions. It does not mean they're ensuring that what the representative does is right or wrong. They're ensuring that it meets a regulatory threshold for something called suitability. There's a whole other video in that term suitability right there. I'm not going to go into it right now. Since the Sarbanes-Oxley Act was passed in 2002, people in financial compliance have had near full employment, even through the financial crisis of 2008 and even through the pandemic. And if you work in the financial industry, the foremost terrifying letters in the entire world are NIGO, which is short for not in good order. It can actually cause a lot of work and a lot of things that have to be redone. The reason that compliance departments are so huge at financial companies has to do with all of the regulations that financial companies have to suffer. And let's be honest, though, a lot of that is because of their own past behavior. But suffice it to say that the paperwork requirements to satisfy all of the regulations are absolutely horrendous. In the past, it was actually pretty common for me to spend 2 to 3 hours filling out paperwork, driving to a client's home to get it signed, only to come back to find out there's some minuscule error or an initial that I left out, and maybe I have to turn around and drive 50 miles back and get it redone. All of that it's been mostly eliminated by DocuSign's digital services right now. It's not only reduced the amount of time that I spend on paperwork, it's vastly reduced the number of errors, like literally possibly up to 90% of the errors that I used to make, I don't make anymore. I think that this eventually is either going to reduce the cost burden of compliance for companies, or at least shift the focus of compliance to where it really matters, away from paperwork and to things like preventing bad actors from acting in bad faith. Now, there's a couple of reasons why DocuSign is so popular with financial companies. Number one is it's highly customizable. The interface that you use to work on through Fidelity or through Schwab might be completely different. And there are software companies out there that specialize in writing softwares for that user interface. You may be using DocuSign on a daily basis to send electronic documents to clients, and you don't even realize it. You have very different experiences and very different capabilities working through Schwab or working through Fidelity or even a couple of other companies, but all of that backend is working through DocuSign. All this leads me into the 3 most powerful reasons that this company is going to succeed in the future. They're already dominant in the financial industry. Almost every firm in the financial industry uses them for something, at least for the most commonly used documents, and they're digitizing more and more of their document suite every day. Number 2, the single suite of technology really allowed the explosive growth of investment apps, and it spurred the innovation that led to things like fractional shares and rapid compliant brokerage account opening and funding. It led to Robinhood, Webull, M1 Finance, Betterment, and countless other apps that are out there now. It sort of democratized stock investing and allowed companies to run with the bare minimum of compliance expenses. It is what led to commission-free trading and forced the big brokerage houses to follow suit. If it can do so much for one industry, who knows how else it can change, which leads me to my last point here. The biggest and most important reason that DocuSign is going to be a monster in the future is that once a company moves to digital signatures, they never go back. Nobody wants to go back to a world of mass-tree murder and paper cuts. Everyone sees the advantage of the service, everyone sees the cost savings of the service, and I have never heard of a single company abandoning digital signatures. Anyway, folks, this is just my opinion. Feel free to tell me how wrong I am in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you next time.